Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So we will start with the auspicious invocations. So all of us can repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Invocation. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna. So it's a nice opportunity for us to discuss on this wonderful subject of Bhagavad-Gita. So first of all, we would like to offer our gratitude and our respects to His Divine Grace, Yesu Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So because of His grace, we are able to understand this difficult subject very, very easily. Right? So congratulations for all of you for graduating to the level 2. And this understanding of these scriptures in depth, it's a very, very important need of the hour actually. So these scriptures are there with us. It has been there since the time immemorial. But then, over a period of time, somehow or other, the faith in these scriptures has become weakened. So there is so much of acquisitions that are there. So the acquisition it is all sentimental, or it's not logical, or it's something, it's a literary work and it doesn't have any solid philosophy or science behind it and stuff like that. So but actually this is the way of life that people lived in. This is something that people actually held it very close to themselves. That is what is the this is our cultural treasure. These books of spirituality, these are our cultural treasures. So somehow or other, we have lost this particular thing. So now we will be seeing the first chapter of Bhagavad-Gita in depth a little bit. So that to a particular section of the first chapter of Bhagavad-Gita. So this is about the Arjuna's reasons for why he was avoiding the fight. So I would like to hear some opinion from all of you. How will this discussion be practically useful for us? It was just some speculation from your side. So you can just share. And with that, I can also get the names of all of you. So can how it may be helpful for us studying this dialogue. Yes. Again. So we can okay, so in this dialogue, so we are able to get some nice knowledge about the body and soul. So that's a nice point. We're going to start killing people. Yes. Conflicting scenarios. So here is a decision making that is happening. So this also can help us. So nice. Thank you very much for all the wonderful observations and whatever your points you had put forward. So if you see, if you want to find a solution, most of you are software engineers, huh? Like how many of you are working in software? Okay. So generally you see that any problem that we have, we just put it in the Google and somebody would have solved it already. And you get the solution. It applies to every industry actually nowadays. So you just have a problem, so somebody would have solved it. So now here in Bhagavad-Gita you see that it's a standard problem that is there, and standard problem, and that is to the core what this problem is. And like we just see that solved solution, and that too expert is solving the solution, right? So there are many sites that are there, right? Like experts solving the solutions and things like that. And we can just easily take the solution. So here is some scenario that is created where Arjuna, the greatest of personality, and he is in problem, and then the greatest doctor or greatest motivational speaker or whatever you may say, Krishna. So like he has solved the situation, and then he has brought back his motivation back, and then he's right on track, right? So this is a very, very amazing this one. So this is one observation that we can actually have. Another observation is that we can actually learn to be humble by studying this particular thing. So we see that great personality like Arjuna. So what is the greatness of Arjuna? Anybody knows the qualification of Arjuna? To fight in the battle. What all qualifications does he have? Means his qualification, what is there in Mahabharata? He is one of the greatest archer, right? Anything else that he has? He has Gandiva bow, that's like very, very powerful, and then inexhaustible quiver of arrows, that's gifted to him. Anything else? Pashupatashra, so like he got the blessings of Lord Shiva and he got Pashupatashra with him. Then anything else? Yeah, so he is such close associate of the Supreme Lord, so like very, very powerful, like he has got, there is no better allies that, you can have, than this. You have the alliance with Krishna, the Supreme Lord himself. So that is a power. And then he was personally trained, by Drona, and he's the best student of the Dronacharya. And also later on he went to the heavens, and then he got personal training from Indra, with all the celestial weapons. What more a person wants to know? He's like so powerful personality, right? And then he is also known for his self-control, So like many, many qualities, you can just list down like innumerable qualities that Arjuna has. So very powerful person, very, very, solid personality, and he gets into a problem. So that must be a real problem actually, It is not some small chota-mota problem. It must be a like really very powerful problem actually. And even such people, even well-qualified people, may also get into problem. It's not that I know everything, so I will not get into problem. That is called as pride. So humility means that anybody can get into problem. Even I can also get into problem. So I need to take help. I need to take shelter of the Lord. I need to take shelter of good people. So this is a very, very important thing, right? So we cannot be like very proud saying that I will never get defeated, or I will never go wrong. That is not a very good thing. Another thing we can actually learn is that even such a great personality, he is not hesitating. How can I say that I don't know? How can I say that Krishna, you tell me like what I'm supposed to do? In front of everybody publicly, like itna bada aadmi aake like he's telling that मुझे पता नहीं like कुछ थोड़ा बोलिए क्या करना है. So that would be an insult, right? So but then greatness of a person, even now we are studying about Arjuna. The greatness of a person is not to say like I don't know. That is like, that is not a, sorry, I know all the time. No, that is not the greatness. Even if I don't know, I accept I don't know. That is also greatness actually. You know, so sometimes people don't understand this point, that no, how can I say I don't know? No, how can I say, like, if I, if people know that I don't know, so then it is not a very good thing, right? So many lessons actually we can take. These literatures are, very amazing literatures, wherein it is interaction between great devotees and the Supreme Lord Himself, and it's a standard case studies, which the Lord Himself personally enacts, and so that, like, many lessons, that we can actually take from. So now people actually make films and different things, so to give some message, and because we are all contaminated and conditioned, we are in the material world, and we don't, even if we want to give some good message, it will have some package of some bad messages, going along with that. So but when the message is coming from the Lord, all the message, in toto, in any angle you study, it is going to be like very nice actually, right? So the accounts that are coming from the Vedic literatures are really very amazing. It's going to give us good lessons in all different directions, right? So in any way we study. So now today we are going to study these reasons, and before getting into it, we will see a little bit of the background of Bhagavad-Gita, then how Arjuna fell into depression, and then why such a great knowledge has to be spoken in the battlefield. So these are all some of the prelude that we will see, and then we will see Arjuna's reasons for not fighting, and Krishna's solutions for all of them, and then we'll have some question answer and mantra meditation. Right? This will be the agenda of today's session. So background of Bhagavad Gita. So most of you know about Mahabharata, so we will just have a very brief background. So there was these two very powerful kings, Pandu and Dhritarashtra. So who is the eldest in that? Dhritarashtra was eldest. So but still Pandu was ruling. Why he was ruling? Dhritarashtra was blind. So that's why he was ruling. And then, like, he was a very saintly person. This Pandu was a very saintly person. Even though he was ruling the kingdom, he always liked to live a life of a sadhu. So often he used to go to forest and live with his wife in the forest kind of an area, and he would like to perform some austerities and penances and things like that. In fact, if you see in Mahabharata, many times it is mentioned that how does a king enhance his power? So it is by speaking truth, it is by performing austerities and penances, and it is by taking care and protecting all his dependents very nicely. So like this, many things are there. So one of them is to perform austerities and penances, right? So these days, like, if somebody asks like how you can become powerful, it's obvious, like you have to go to gym and then do some workout, right? So in the past, people had a different logic. So if you perform austerities and penances, so then you will be blessed with divine energy, right? So that energy will be like, really very amazing. So it has always been like this. If you see within Dronacharya's this one, it is when the students behaved nicely, and then when the students actually, like when Dronacharya become pleased with them, so then many occasions he will say, okay, now I am pleased with you, now I'll bless you with this knowledge. So it is not that, okay, like a teacher is there, I will do some hook or crook and I'll understand all the techniques. It is just data, right? Like, I just have to copy the data, I have to understand the data. No, it is, most of the times knowledge is actually blessed, and power and all these things, it is blessed. So this austerities, Pandu Maharaj was very much like, this one attached to, or very much attracted to performing nice austerities and penances, for the pleasure of the Lord. And before doing this, he had actually won over the whole world. He had done his Vishwa Vijay, won over the whole world, and the Hastinapur's kingdom was the seat of the entire world. The king of the entire world used to sit over there. And then, so in his forest stay, the Kshatriyas are allowed to hunt. So sometimes people ask, like, hunting is killing, right? So how is it possible? Like, it's not a right thing. And Pandu is a dharmic king. Now how is he killing? So Kshatriyas are allowed to kill, allowed to hunt, just to practice their archery. So that is allowed, and that too, like they can kill some animals which are creating a lot of disturbance in the forest, right? So they can kill in that way. So they cannot go beyond a limit and kill, like without any limitation. So it's not like that. So there is a limit, within which they can actually, exercise their killing power. So now what happened? There was this, like when he was doing this hunting, so a deer was engaged in mating, and he shot that deer, and it happened to be a sage. So the sage, he was in disguise, and he was actually having intercourse with his wife. So why? Because the sage did not have any cottage, and they had mystic powers. So they transformed themselves into deer, and then they had their intercourse. So, and the sage actually says, it is adharma, like when somebody is mating, that is not the time to kill, or that is not the time to attack. So, a dharmic king would not do this thing. In fact, when we talk about this dharmic killing, it is many times people ask, like, there is so much opportunity was there, where Pandavas could be killed, or this could have happened, that could have happened in the battle. So, Dharma Yuddha means, if you are challenging somebody, I want to fight with you. And if the other person declines, saying, no, I don't want to fight, so then you cannot fight. If he says, like, no, I'm not going to fight, he goes back, you cannot, like, shot arrows on his back. No, that's not possible. Both the party has to agree, and both the parties have to be equally armed, and stuff like that and all is there. So anyways, intricacies of the Mahabharata war, sometime we can discuss. So, but then, these are all some of the principles that are there. And here the sage, he was killed, when he was mating with his, with his wife in the form of a deer. So then the sage actually uttered a curse. So when you actually approach your wife for intercourse, that time you will die. So then this was a very, big blow, and there is no children that is there in the this one. So Pandu Maharaj was very distressed about this. So Pandu had two wives. So one is Kunti and another is Madri. And Kunti had the divine power to invoke any devatas. And how does this, there are many intricacies, intricate details of how dharmically, this kind of children can be begotten. So the king is representative of all the Devi Devatas. So and in that way, so this kind of a arrangement is possible, and it was sanctioned by the by the scriptures, and the sadhus who used to live in the forest. So they also sanctioned this particular this one. So then after that, there was amazing divine children were born. So the first one was Yudhishthir, born of which devata? Yamaraj. And second was Bhima. Yeah, so he was born of Vayu. And third, Arjuna, born of Indra. And then fourth and fifth, yeah, so Nakul and Sahadev, so was born of Ashwini Kumars. So Nakul and Sahadev was born of Madri, and then Kunti, she got 3 sons, right? So all of them were there, and then when the Pandu, at one point in time, so he could not able to control his urge, so he mated with his wife and then Madri, and then he had to leave his body. So then Madri actually enters into the funeral pyre, and she quits, and Kunti has to take care of all these 5 children. So when this was happening, Kunti actually returned to the kingdom with the 5 children, and when she returned, so it was from the beginning, it was always a distress. Why? Because Yudhishthir was eldest, and then these people were dharmic, and these children were quite attractive, and they were literally became the object of attraction for everybody. And so Yudhishthira was the ideal king because of his age and good qualities, and Dhritarashtra wanted his son to become the next king. And Duryodhana also was so much adamant, and he did so many atrocities just to eliminate the Pandavas, right? So we see that there was the game of dice that was played, and deceitfully, the Pandavas were cheated, and Draupadi was was supposed to be stripped naked. So this is like a very, very bad thing, to happen. And then, they were trying to burn, Pandavas like alive. They made so much of this one, like deceitful games, in this way. So many, many things like Bhima was fed poison, and any other thing that you remember of? So many things they did, so many, many ways like, so Lakshaka, like, they want. Yeah. So in this way, like many, many ways, like, they try to, subdue, the Pandavas. So, but then, Pandavas actually, they were very righteous, and especially the Yudhishthir, he was, always standing for dharma. So even if it is trying situation, even if the situation is going very, very worst, if you ask, Yudhishthir, he will always say, what is dharma? That is what I will follow. So there was so many cases where, everybody around were inciting. So much of insult has happened. Now you should act. Now you should kill these people, and now you should just give permission. Like we will finish the whole party. So, but then, he will say, no, this is not the right time. No, this is not the right dharma for us to do at this point in time. So he would always see what is the right thing to be performed at that point in time, right? So this is a very, very amazing example. Like, in this world, in the modern day, we see that it's quite often we see that people actually break the rules and regulations, and people actually, stray away from the, the path of dharma. And then if you ask, the standard answer would be like, what, everybody is following dharma or what? So here in this case, nobody was following dharma, and the whole assembly was actually like cheating them. But still, Yudhishthir, he says like, no, if nobody follows, still, I will have to follow. So why this is so? If you see, the person who breaks the dharma, he will face the consequences later on, right? And then another aspect is, the dharma means what? If you see, the traffic is there. So in the Bangalore, traffic is quite famous, So traffic is there, and there are traffic rules and regulations out there, right? So just by following, red signal and no green signal and the marks over there and one way and stuff like that. So just you are just simply following. So is there any benefit for other people by following like this? Yeah? Less accident, free flow of traffic and stuff like that, right? So it is quite important that this laws of dharma is not just made just like that. No, our action, our following of dharma is going to affect so many people around, and our not following of dharma will also affect so many people around, right? So it is a common asset, that we have. The whole creation is a common asset that we have. All of us share this asset, and there is a common protocol that is there, how to act in this world, and like whether anybody follows or not, right? So if we try to follow, so we will set a good example, and we will not at least, create any harm to another person, right? So it is not just, a simple principle to be followed. It has a lot of meaning to it actually. So it has repercussions in many, many places. So, Yudhishthir would always stand by dharma, whatever, it may happen. So, and the sons of Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana, headed by Duryodhana, all the 100 sons, they used to be like doing a lot of ruckus, all the time. And after 12 years of exile and 1 year of incognito, and there was a peace mission, like Lord Krishna went for the peace, and he told that, see, like these people are Kshatriyas, like ideally the game was that, if 13 years, if they finish successfully, they will get back their kingdom, right? So that was the deal. So now they are not willing to give. Still they are not asking like, no, you have to give everything. So these people are Kshatriyas, and they are like administrators. Give at least something to administer, give at least something to rule over, like what they will do. They are trained as kings, and they have to be given some opportunity, right? So they say like, no, we will not even give a land enough to pierce a needle into it. So then the war is inevitable. So the war has to happen. So this is the scenario in which the whole war is assembled, and in the whole exile, in the period of exile also, at some places like they actually go to very amazing places of heavenly atmosphere and things like that. And Bhima would come and tell to Yudhishthir, see, like, no, we will not stay here for long. No, why? Because in this enjoyment, I'm forgetting what all insults we have gone through. Now my determination, my anger is subsiding here. No, I don't want to stay here. No, I want to go back to the place of austerity. No, because I want to maintain this anger to go and finish these guys. No, I don't want to leave these people like that. So they were always burning with anger. No, because it is not an ordinary insult. No, it is like really very, very affecting thing actually. So now after all this thing, now they are going to be there in the war, and in the war, when the war is going to start, and like Arjuna says, like, no, I'm not going to fight. So it is like something very, very puzzling. All the while they have already planned, and he has made his heavenly trip, and he has got so much of weapons for this, and very amazing training, and all those things have happened, and blessings from so many sages, and so many things have happened. And after that, Arjuna decides, I'm not going to fight. It's like, it's a big thing actually. It's like, you prepare for exam, very nicely. It's not that you don't know anything, like you know everything. And finally at the point of giving the exam, like you say, like, I'm not going to write. No, everybody will say like, no. And that also is okay. If you are chosen for some Olympics and you are going to contest in the last round or something like that, and then you say like, no, I'm not going to participate in that. So it's a big thing. Everybody is waiting for it. So that's the scenario that is there. So let's chant the first shloka of the Bhagavad-Gita. So I'll chant and you can repeat after me. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yutsavaha mamakaha pandavaschaiva kimma kurvata sanjaya. So here, the opening shloka of Bhagavad Gita is a puzzle. So such a sacred book, very, very sacred book. All Sanatana Dharmis actually worship this book. And the first shloka is started by Dhritarashtra, and the most sinful person. So, or at least a person who favored the sin. So it is sometimes like it is nice, like what is it? Starting with a googly. So everybody would expect like such a sacred scripture, Krishna would open, or at least the devotee would open. So it is the opposite party. The villain is opening the opening the scripture, actually. So he is asking Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assemble in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? So it's sometimes it may be looking like an obvious question. So why is this question put forward? So like it is like my children have bought ticket to the film, and they went to the theater, and after that, what did they do? Obviously they saw the film, and so or you went to the hotel, so like after that, what did you do? Obviously you ate, right? So but here the problem is, it's a place of pilgrimage. Dhritarashtra has so many things running in his mind. So it's a place of pilgrimage, it's a holy place, and the Pandavas are nice people. Maybe they will gain more energy and they will overpower my sons. That's one problem. Another problem is that, like, if the what is that? It's a place of pilgrimage. It's a nice holy place. What if my sons change their mind and they don't fight? So that is also a problem. If they fight, definitely he will become defeated. And if they don't fight, how will we get anything at all? It is like very impossible proposition that Dhritarashtra is like having in his mind. So fight has to happen, and my sons has to win, and that is not possible. So now what is going to happen? So he's in so much of anxiety actually. He is giving charity to these people. Yeah, sir. Yeah. Yeah. So all these various things actually is going on in the mind of Dhritarashtra. And if you see the size of the army, the size of the army of Kauravas, how much it was? 11 Akshaunis. 11 Akshaunis and 7 Akshaunis. So it is like remarkably like big this one army was. And then in many ways, if you see the qualified people, the first chapter of Bhagavad-Gita actually lists down. So on the side of the Kauravas, the qualified people, if you list down, there are many people are there and quite experienced people. Like this Bhishma is there, Drona is there, Kripacharya is there, so Karna is there, Ashwatthama is there. Many solid warriors are there. And in fact, Yudhishthir was having so much doubt if we face this battle at this point in time, when they were going to exile. So if we face this battle at this point in time, we will not be able to win. So then when Arjuna went to the heavens and he got the celestial weapons, so then somewhat he was convinced, okay, now probably it is possible for us to. Because he has a very amazing calculation. Yudhishthir Maharaj is not going with anger or something like that. He very cool-headed. Very amazingly, he actually calculates all these things. So it is quite a difficult army, to fight with, in the size and also in the qualification and in the expertise and things like that, right? So, and the commander-in-chief was also mentioned in the first chapter. So the Kauravas had the commander-in-chief as Bhishma, and this side Bhima. So Bhima was known for his rashness. He would not think, he would not strategize things. He would just go and finish. That's it. So, but Bhishma was power also, and also with that, so much of intelligence, strategy, and all those things were there. So Pandava's army was collected in a after they finished their Agyatavas and everything, and they came back, and whatever best they could do, they could collect. But Kaurava's army, Duryodhana, this thing will happen. Whole 13 years he was planning, and he was properly doing all his PR work, and he's getting his this one connections ready. So it is in every way you see that this principle is a very amazing principle. In fact, in Ramayana also this particular thing comes. So when Lord Ram's army actually went to fight with the this one Ravana, this was untrained army. The Ramayana actually says it was completely untrained army, and they know only to throw stones. They don't know any warfare. This one, like tir chalana nahi aata hai. They are not trained. Monkeys, what can you expect from the monkeys? So they're not trained, and few people were there experts. Bulk of them were untrained. So Hanuman was expert, Angada was expert, and few of them were quite good. But then bulk of them were they can just throw some trees and stones. That's what they can do. And Ravana's side, they are all demons. They know so much of illusory tricks. They know so much of mantras, so much of astras and things like that. So many things actually they know. And there is this particular thing that is mentioned. There is this power of divine energy. So if we side with the dharma, so the power of dharma actually makes us invincible, makes us more powerful than the physical external expertise, right? So external expertise, if it is there, it's good. If it is not there also, if we are dependent on the Lord, and if we are actually taking shelter of dharma, so that actually gives more enhanced power. This is very important lesson that we can actually see, that the size and the expertise and everything was good in Duryodhana's side, but still the Pandavas, they sided with dharma. So dharma resulted in little late, but then definitely it came out victorious, right? So now Arjuna is in complete dilemma. So in this particular chapter, first chapter, we can see that Arjuna, seeing the scene of the battlefield, he gets into depression. And as we had discussed before, he was a great hero, and he getting into depression is something very significant, to be noted. It's not like that, every now and then he gets into depression. It's not like that. It's he's a very great hero, very accomplished person, and he gets into depression. And this is a greatest motivational talk. We see that, and that too delivered in, half an hour, 45 minutes, and then you bring a person back into normal condition, right? So it's really very amazing, aspect actually. And this is also one aspect that we can actually see when a person actually gets into depressed condition. So we see that lack of clarity of the outcome. You see, like everybody wants to have some direction in life. Everybody wants to pursue something. Everybody wants to have some direction in life. And if you actually shatter their goal, they will not know which direction to go. So then, they will get into depression. Or the goal is there, but you shatter the path to attain the goal. Like goal is there, but it is impossible to attain. So then also a person gets into depression, right? So these are all some of the things. That's quite this one, like quite detrimental, more than killing a person, more than physically harming a person. So subtle way, there can be people like who are talking like friends, but if they actually shoot down your goal, then you are living dead. So like you are as good as dead only. And then if they like make your path to attain the goal unclear, then also like you get into depression. So in modern day, why people are getting into depression? Like why people are often they get into depression? Any idea? Based on this logic that we discussed, if you see the goals, what are the like standard goals a modern person, modern day people they have? Okay, whatever it is, anxiety. Why they get into this anxiety and stuff like that? Material stuff, and that too very, very transient material stuff. So like getting a good rank. It is something like if not this time, next time let's work and let's get. So having a goal which is so short term, and then after attaining the goal, like we don't know like what's the next goal. That's again we have to work on. Until unless we have a goal in mind and we have a clear path to attain the goal, we will always be in anxiety and depression, whatever the name that we can term to that. Always we will be in unclear and disturbed kind of a state. So now in the Vedic times, people, even if they had material goals, they used to have long-term goals. They used to have a bigger goal, bigger vision, right? So for that, 1 failure, 2 failure, 3 failure, 10 failure, still it can be accommodated, still the person will be stable. Why? Because they have a larger vision, larger goal. So now you see like, somebody has not given me proper respect. Like usme toot jayega aadmi. And then somebody has not spoken well to me, or I did not get proper promotion, or I did not get, like small, petty goals, right? So this short-lived temporary goals means it's more opportunity for a person to become depressed, right? So this is a problem actually. So forget about spiritual goal, even material goal also, like if it is a long term, and how will we know like what is that? That's what the scriptures talk about. What are we living for? What's the bigger picture of this world? And what all right options that we can actually have to have a higher aspiration and things like that. So all these things are there, nicely described in the scriptures. And we see here, he was having lack of clarity of the outcome of the battle, and the personal life is going to be disastrous, because all his relatives and people like that will be killed and destroyed. And then all that he had cherished in his whole life will be completely destroyed. So this is putting Arjuna into distress. And how do we get inspired to work? By acquiring knowledge. So if we know why should I work, this why is answered, so then I will get some clarity. And then what is my role, the role clarity, and then how it is going to impact me, and what should I do, like what is my practical ways in which I can actually go about doing this particular activity. So when clarity is there in the life, so then there is enthusiasm is there. When clarity is not there, what I am going to do, like clarity is not there, then immediately like I'll have to be in depression, I'll have to be in anxiety and things like that. So this knowledge, traditionally speaking, tamasoma jyotirgama, you have heard, right? So what is this jyoti? Light means literally, what do they mean actually with this jyoti? Knowledge. So people would always attribute knowledge to light. So knowledge, like darkness, it creates anxiety. I don't know whether I'm going to step onto a pit, or I'm going to get hit with an accident, or many unknown these ones are there. So like always darkness creates anxiety. Even you imagine like this house, if it is pitch dark, No, I don't know, like even I'll walking down the steps, I'll be quite cautious, no, whether I'm keeping my steps properly or not, right? So if there is light, no, it gives like enthusiasm, it gives happiness, and it gives like light actually creates a lot of good vibes actually. So the light is always attributed in the Vedic terms into knowledge, right? So when a person is knowledgeable, he has clarity of thought, so then he is always enthusiastic, no? But if he's not knowledgeable, he's always going to be in distress, right? It's quite difficult for him to get clarity. So now we see more clarity leads to more enthusiasm. Just like a hungry man, he receives some food, he's enthusiastic, but it remains only for a few hours, because after that he doesn't have clarity. Where will I get the next meal, right? So, and then a poor man receiving some money, he's good, he's happy for some time, but then like he's not that satisfied and happy, because if this money exhausts, then what will he do? Again, he's back to square one. So, and then an ignorant man receiving knowledge, even if he is poor, even if he is hungry, whatever may be the case, a knowledgeable person can always be happy. If you see our greatest of acharyas, like in all the, in our Sanatan Dharma, we see that many of them were naturally like, they used to renounce, their kingdoms, and they used to be there living like a sadhu and things like that. And they were considered to be the most happiest people. And these most happiest people, which the Vedic literatures cherish, they don't know where their next meal is going to come from, and they don't have a bank account. And they are the most happiest people, right? So this means what? Knowledge actually creates happiness. Knowledge actually gives enthusiasm. Knowledge actually gives meaning in life, right? So the other things, if we don't have knowledge, it's going to be always a problem, right? It's going to be a problem. So that's why more clarity leads to more enthusiasm, and more clarity leads to more happiness, right? So that's the aspect of knowledge, that we actually see in this one. So with this prelude, we will get into the Arjuna's arguments. So the first argument that Arjuna actually puts, let's chant this particular shloka. Arjuna uvacha drishvemam swajanam Krishna yuyutsum samupastitam sidanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishushati. So Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. Right? So there are few more shlokas which explain this particular scenario. So, but especially here we see drishtvemam, drishti, like darshan, and swajanam. Swajanam means what? My own people. Swa means one's own, and jana means to people. So swajana. So who are the swajana? Friends and relatives, right? So Arjuna is seeing, his friends and relatives, aligned in the battlefield, and then, he is not able to, fight with them. He is actually, feeling very sad that, my friends and relatives are present in the battlefield, and they are ready to fight. I am feeling very bad about this, right? So attachment to swajana. That's the first reason. So, and then, what is the solution that Krishna gives for this particular reason? Any idea? Just any brainstorming? Yeah, so this is a proper thing that Krishna actually mentions. So you cannot kill these people because they are spirit souls, and you can only kill their bodies. You can only destroy their bodies. So now this proposition, is it okay? That means like we cannot kill anybody, so we can go and kill everybody. That's a nice point. Any other points in this direction? That's correct only. But this proposition, if somebody is Like, so Arjun's scenario is okay, but this principle that you cannot kill the soul, you cannot kill a person proper, so you can destroy their body. It's not considered to be killing. So it's a very dangerous principle. If everybody takes a sword and goes about killing, saying that no, I'm not killing, so it's going to be a problem, right? It's going to be a problem. So how can this be accepted? See, unnecessarily, a person cannot be killed. Sudipto, Pradipto. So he told very nicely, it is according to the dharma, right? So you cannot kill a person unnecessarily. No, that's not possible, right? So it's like, a person is staying in a particular place and he is not paying the rent. So if he is not paying the rent, first of all, when he is paying the rent and has a proper rental agreement, nobody will ask him to get out of the place. No, that's not proper. But if he is not paying the rent, or he is doing some mischief in the house, so then you ask him to get out. And somebody says, no, compassion, if we ask him to get out, what will he do? We are not killing that person. We are just asking him to get out of this. No, that is the proper thing to do at this point in time. So something similar to that, we see that, when a living entity is occupying the body, he has the right to stay in this body. Right? So if we forcibly evict the person from the body, so that's considered to be murder. That's like untimely and it is unwarranted. So then that's considered to be murder. But then if it is dharma, if the dharma ordains, if somebody commits such and such sin and he should be killed in such and such way, so then such killing is not going to incur any sin. And at that point in time, if we think that, oh, I'm harming this living entity, no, the living entity cannot possibly harm. No, you are only evicting the living entity from this body, and by Lord's arrangement, the living entity will get another body, right? So it is not that, you are actually doing some injustice to that living entity. No. So, but somebody is legally staying in a particular body, some soul is legally staying in a particular body, and if he has not committed any crime, unnecessarily he should not be evicted from the body, right? So that's a particular proposition that is there. So in this way, Krishna is telling that it is dharma to kill these people, and even though you hesitate, even after knowing that it is dharma to kill these people, you hesitate that you are going to harm these people. So for your information, you cannot harm. They are souls, and soul cannot be killed or destroyed or anything like that. So you cannot possibly destroy them. So these people are they are going to continue to exist. This is a point that Krishna actually makes. He is not giving a warrant saying that killing the body is not killing. Okay, you can go about killing. So it's not like that. It's a specific this one. So in this connection, Krishna actually explains about the body and soul. So how the body is temporary and the soul is permanent. And this aspect can actually give us so many wonderful instructions that always we see that which is going to be there with us for long, we invest best of the time on that. So that which is going to be there for some time, just like if we are going to purchase a own house, we will spend in interiors so much. But if you are living in a PG, we'll ठीक है जो भी है सब चला लेंगे कितना दिन रहेंगे पता नहीं इसमें So and then in PG also we will do something, some decoration or something, some facilities will create. But if we are traveling in a train, we know we are going to get down, कितना भी है jail लो निकल जाएंगे इधर से, So we will not fix up so many things over there, right? So in that way, we see that the body is temporary. It is going to be there for maybe at the max 100 years or 70 years, 80 years, we don't know. But the soul is something that we ourselves, and we are going to be eternal. We are not having any destruction. So the activities which are meant to enhance the position of the soul, that should be given more importance, right? So that is the place where we have to invest a lot. And a body that is going to live with us for a certain period of time, definitely we have to take care. But then how much? That also we need to actually measure. So this is a very important point for our decision making. No, materialism means to spend time, like an energy for enhancing the position of the body and things that are connected to the body. And then spiritualism means to like enhance the position of the soul, which is going to be there eternally, right? So definitely a level of materialism is required because we live in this world, and definitely we require a level of materialism. Just like when we travel in the train, we have to be there acquainted with the procedures and ways of living in the train, for some time, right? So, but we are not going to have it for long time, right? So in that way, like we see that it's the soul is permanent, and then we are going to have we should be investing more energy in the aspect of taking care of the soul, right? So the material aspects, we actually have it in the limited sense. So this is one very important instruction that Krishna actually gives in the first chapter. Oh, sorry, not in the first chapter. Like Arjuna puts this argument in the first chapter. Later on, Krishna actually answers this in the second chapter. So now the second question or second thing, that actually the Arjuna actually puts is this particular thing. So let's chant this particular shloka. Nacha shreyo nupashyami hatva swajanamahave nakankshe vijayam Krishna nacha rajyam sukhani cha. So he's telling, I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsman. In this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom or happiness. So basically he is mentioning that even if I win this battle, so I'm not going to be happy. So why? Because hatva swajana mahave. So like, I'm going to kill my swajana, my own people, my relatives and friends. And you have something, but then you need to share that thing with your people. You have to enjoy with your people. But you're not going to have your people only. So then where are you going to have your enjoyment? So what is the flaw in this argument? What is the flaw in this argument? How can I enjoy? Even if I win this kingdom, how can I enjoy? Okay. करने दो ना क्या बात है. This is a very important point, especially not human, but especially a leader, a Kshatriya of the caliber of Arjuna. It's just like a police, he caught a thief, and then, or a murderer, and then he says like, no, I cannot punish this person. Why? Like because he's my relative. So if I punish this person, like, how can I be happy? So then this one, who asked about your happiness? Do your duty. So that's a very important point. Here the proposition is not about how Arjuna will become happy. The proposition is about to establish dharma. What is right to be established, right? So police cannot say, here is my relative and I cannot punish. So that's not the right proposition, right? So in the same way, we see that here Arjuna's case is also like, he is not expected to look for his happiness at this point in time. He is expected to do what is the ideal dharma is supposed to do, because the Kshatriyas are like the people who are supposed to establish dharma. And if they take sides, saying that, oh, this is my relative, this is my friend and stuff like that, then the kaam nahi chalega aisa, so they cannot be like this. So this particular thing, Krishna actually explains, he actually makes this particular, this one, he says that doing your duty, you will get piety. And then that kind of doing the duty, and suffering actually comes from the sin. This is a very standard argument. If you are pious, you will get happiness. If you are sinful, you will get distress. So it is mentioned even in in the case of Prahlad. So when Prahlad was tortured like anything, by Hiranyakashipu. So it is mentioned that how can Prahlad suffer at all? No, why? Because he doesn't have any sin in his account. So how much ever Hiranyakashipu is trying to give pain, he is not getting any pain at all. No. So Hiranyakashipu, in fact, he says, no, you are looking like a dog's curved tail. जितना भी उसको सीधा करने के लिए try करेंगे फिर से वो it will become curved again, right? So in the same way, I am trying so much to give you some suffering. You seem to not have experience any suffering at all. You are always blissful. क्या हो रहा है तुम्हारा साथ? So then, in Srimad Bhagavatam, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami, he actually mentions that how can he suffer? Because he doesn't have any sin in his account. So in the same way, if somebody doesn't have any piety, no punya is there in his account, so how can he be happy? It is not possible. Even if he tries, endeavors, he can do any circus, he cannot become happy, right? So here, Krishna is actually establishing in the second chapter, you see, happiness, you are talking about happiness, how can you be happy? It's not just because you have friends and family, you will become happy. No, always, all this while you have been having friends and family. Have you been happy? No, it's not. So it's not like that. No, if friends and family are there, you will become happy, and different conditions are met, you will become happy. No, you need to have punya, to become happy. And how you will get punya? Because by doing your duty, you will get punya. What is properly, ideally, you are supposed to do. Just like if you do your duty in the office, you will get hike. You will get promotion and all those things. In the same way, here also Arjuna, if he does his duty, he will get punya, and in that way he will become happy. So what is his duty? His duty is Kshatriya, and he is supposed to fight. So Krishna logically establishes, if you fight, you will become happy. Rather you are thinking that if I fight, I will become sad. No, I will become unhappy. But actually, if you fight, you will become happy, right? So he actually establishes this particular point. So then he says that if you don't fight, what will happen? Sin will come upon you. You have transgressed your duty. Your duty is you are supposed to establish the dharma, and you failed in that. So because of that, sin will come. And sin may give result later on. It may make you sad later on. Before that, people will start commenting about you. Oh, this guy Arjuna, what people talk about hero and stuff like that and all. He ran away from the battlefield. So then if people talk like that, that will be worse than death actually. So better you fight and die, it is okay. If you fight and die, what will happen? You will get heavens. Two kinds of death is very much glorified in the Vedic scriptures. One is death of a sadhu, who practices spiritual life and then leaves his body, far away from the all the kings, great kings. Their greatness is that after they train their son to take charge of the kingdom, they would just go outside the kingdom without telling where they are going. And they would practice spirituality, and they would leave their body without anybody's knowledge. And that's considered to be a very nice death. So in the Vedic, in the Vedic estimation. And then another death is that dying in the battlefield. Many small petty kings also, they actually came to fight in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And they know who are the people who are going to be there. Bhishma, Drona, and Bhima, and Arjuna, and all these people. Karna and all these people, they are going to be there. अरे पागल है क्या, उधर जाएंगे तो जरूर मरेंगे. There is मृत्यु का चिट्ठी लेके जा रहे हैं तो it is no chance that you will get. It's like दो पत्थर पीस रहे हैं, उसके बीच में कोई जाएंगे क्या? So nobody will go there. So but then why do these Kshatriyas go? They are so enthusiastic. I am going to go to the battle of Kurukshetra, and there Bhima, Arjuna, and all these people are there. अरे तुम्हारा हाल क्या होने वाला है? अरे मैं मरूंगा तो मैं मरूंगा, उधर जाके मरूंगा. So that is a Kshatriya spirit. They are not afraid of death and stuff like that. That's not at all a case for them. But if they fight in such a battle in the Dharma Yuddha, and then if they leave their body, they are going to go to heaven. So that is also secondary for them. First is that कुछ तो अच्छा खासा fight करने का मिलेगा हमको. So that is very this one. So these people Krishna is telling, you fight, even if you are killed, you will get heavenly kingdom, and you will go to the heaven and you will enjoy there. Heaven is meant for enjoyment, so you will enjoy there. If you win, what will happen? You will get the kingdom, and all the opulence will be there. You can enjoy the earthly kingdom. So in either ways, No, fighting only will create enjoyment for you, and getting away from the fight is going to create only problem for you. So it is going to be sinful, and people will talk about, no, they will criticize you, and sin will also come upon you, and you cannot be happy, right? So if happiness is your problem, definitely you are not going to be happy going away from the battle, right? So this is something that he mentions. So then after that, the next thing that is mentioned, let's chant this particular shloka. Papamevashraye dasman Atvaitana tatayinah Tasman naraha vayam hantum Dardarashran sabandhavan Swajanam hi katam bhatva Sukhinakshama madhava. So here he is telling, Papameva Shreya Dasman. So sin will come upon us, if we kill these people. So, in the, when you study the Bhagavad-Gita, you'll see in this particular shloka's purport, Srila Prabhupada actually quotes from the Vedic literatures, that 6 kinds of aggressors, when they are killed, no sin actually applies. So what are these kind of 6 kinds of aggressors? So one who is a poison giver, one who gives a poison, deceitfully. So such a person is killed, paap nahi lagta usse, And did they give poison to Pandavas? They give poison. And then one who sets fire to the house, if that person is killed also, paap nahi lagega. So did they set fire to the house? They did. And then one who attacks with deadly weapons, without any, even when the opposite party is not prepared, to fight. So they did this also. And then one who plunders the riches. They made proper deceitful plan, the dice game, and then everything, like they made cheating, full cheating, and then they plundered the riches. And then one who occupies another's land, they did that. And one who kidnaps a wife. They did everything. I think Jayadratha kidnapped, so Draupadi. So every possible thing, it is like one of it is also fulfilled, that person can be killed. So all 100% they should be killed. Like Krishna is telling, see, what are you talking? These people, if we kill these people, if we don't kill these people, we'll get sin. So these are rightfully to be killed. These people are. So these are considered to be aggressors, and sin will not come. Sin comes from not doing our duty, so that we discussed in the previous this one only. And as Kshatriya's duty is to fight, so he should fight, and if we don't fight, then the sin will come. If we fight, just by fighting, sin is not going to come. So Krishna will establish this particular thing later on. And then the next point that Arjuna mentions, let's try to chant this shloka. Kulakshaye pranashyanti Kula dharmaha sanatanaha Dharme nashte kulam krishnam Adharmo vibhavatyuta. So here he is telling, if we kill these people, all the respectable people of this world have assembled here, and if we kill these guys, then what's going to happen? So then back at their places, nobody will be there to propagate the religion, and overall irreligion will spread, and because of religion, women will be spoiled, polluted, and they will become prostitutes and things like that. And then children will be born without proper samskar. When children are born without proper samskar, so it's a very, very important thing. Anyway, this point came, so we will touch upon this a little bit. We see that why the samskaras are there. In the Vedic times, there is Garbhadan samskar is there. Before begetting the child, so the father and mother, they perform certain rituals. Can you put on this fan? It will be helpful, right? Not required? Okay. So if we see the samskaras, so they are meant before uniting. These days, you see that man is there, woman is there, just go about enjoying. That's the principle. So, but then we see, this was considered to be very sacred, and this was a science actually. How to bring about qualified, well-cultured population is by the way of samskara. So when this Garbhadan samskara is performed, and various other samskaras which are there when they are performed,
So they actually attract very qualified souls to the place, right? So of course the bulk of the population would be Shudras and they would not follow any samskar. So different kinds of people would come into the society. But then the higher class of people, they are expected to follow the samskaras. So by following the samskaras, they would bring such illustrious people. I would always used to think that how are these great kings, again and again in their family, great kings are going to come. So how is it possible? Like ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? Like permutation, combination, something like it should. Sometime somebody will come and maybe like this one Shudra's house, like some powerful king has born. We don't hear that kind of scenario in the Vedic times. Vedic time, everything was streamlined. Like these Kshatriyas, they would perform the samskaras in such a way that they would attract a very powerful soul. The Brahmanas, they would perform the samskara in such a way, they would get a soul which is inclined for austerities and penances and tapasya and things like that. So it was quite a science, which kind of soul is going to come, right? So now Arjuna's question, this particular argument, modern day people cannot understand only. So like, if the samskaras are destroyed, we will not be able to attract qualified souls into the society, and then the society will be completely at chaos. How it will be completely at chaos? As it is there in Kali Yuga. So there is no samskaras followed, and then we see like everywhere it is chaos, and every economy in the world, everybody is like in the edge. When it is going to total, when it is going to actually this one, and you see the maximum life of a a particular constituency or particular a kingdom or a particular law or a government and things like that. So we see that it may range to 100, 200, 300 and stuff like that. But after that, we have seen like everywhere it is toppling. It is not going to be sustaining for a long time. People come together, they make some laws and they think that it is going to work. But after some time, it's not going to handle all the problems that are coming in. So then again it crashes. Different philosophies. Communism came, then industrialism came. So then different things. And now whatever we have, like how many years we are enjoying this particular law that we are living in? Amrit Mahotsav. So like 75 years. Like baby, for a civilization, for a particular herd of people, 75 years is like nothing. It's just maybe one person's lifetime. That's how much old we are, like as a group of nation, as a group of people, as a nation. So this shows how futile, this problem what Arjuna was mentioning about is actually happening now. So like if these people are destroyed, the dharma will be destroyed, and when the dharma is destroyed, it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be like really thoroughly chaotic. And then people will have to be like running pillar to post just to maintain themselves, right? So, and people who are intelligent, they can actually maintain. People who are dull, they let them suffer. So that's the way like the whole thing is going on. So in the Vedic kingdom, this kind of things would not happen. So Arjuna is envisioning all these things. All these people are killed. There is going to be serious problem that's going to be there. So then Lord actually mentions, first of all, like why did the Lord appear? Lord's appearance, reason for Lord's appearance? Dharma samsthapanarthaya. And Arjuna is telling Krishna, if I follow your instruction, dharma will fall. So you should at least consider, ye to aaya dharma samsthapanarthaya, for the purpose of establishing dharma, kuch to rahega unko bolne mein, So he should have considered that. And then the Lord actually mentions in the further chapters that Arjuna, you are actually looking for some, whatever you are speaking is also dharma. Like if we fight this battle, these people are killed, so then it's going to be a problem. But then there is a higher dharma is also there. How will you understand the higher dharma? So there is like a discussion about there is Laukik dharma, the common principles, and then there is Niti Shastras, Dharma Shastras, and many different levels of dharma that is there. The Vedic rule is not flat one rule. So you are expected to follow a normal rule, and then when a higher rule is supposed to be broken, so then better than breaking the higher rule, you break a lower rule. And there are multiple levels of rules are there. So this actually gives us a very amazing this one. So Krishna actually mentions that one who, he gives an example that if in the village, you see like there are many wells are there. So one well is meant for taking bath, another well is meant for washing clothes, another well is meant for some other purpose like this. They would drinking water, like that. So Krishna is giving an example. You see, there are many wells are there for different purposes. But if you have a large reservoir of water, so then all the purposes will be solved in one reservoir only. If there is a flowing river, some Dhobi may wash his clothes, and people may take fresh water to drink also, and we can wash everything can be done in that one particular this one. So in this way, Krishna is telling, see, if you know the bigger picture of the Vedas, what they are actually trying to tell, so then you will not be confused by the small petty rules and regulations. What you are talking about is definitely a matter of concern, but here is a bigger matter of concern. If we don't do this, adharma in a bigger way will flourish. That's going to be a problem. So he actually convinces Arjuna in this particular way, and then the next and last this one proposition that or last argument that Arjuna actually puts is this particular thing. Let's try to repeat this. Nachaitad vidmah. Sorry, this is a little different tune. Nachaitad vidmah kataranno gariyo yadva jayema yadivana jayoyo yaneva hatvana jajivishamas Devastitah pramukhe dardarashtrah. So here is complete indecision is seen, nor do we know what is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we killed the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live, yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. So it is a kind of a statement which doesn't have any conclusive this one. You cannot come out with any conclusion. Tum ladna chahte ki nahi? No, it's completely confusion actually. So with all these propositions that he had put before, so now he has come to a point that I am not able to take a call. I am completely bewildered. I am not able to take a call. So that's the point that he is actually coming up to. And Krishna actually mentions later on that vyavasayatmika buddhi rekehe kurunandana. Bahushaka hi anantasya buddhayo avyavasayina. So he mentions that this one pointed focus is possible only if a person follows the buddhi yoga or bhakti or devotion to the Lord. So why is it so? Because for a person who is following buddhi yoga, his only one pointed focus is how to please the Lord. If that is not there, so then he has to please his friend, he has to please his relatives, he has to please the common people in general, he has to please his ego, he has got so many things to actually satisfy. But then if he is a devotee of the Lord, what are you trying to do? I just simply want to satisfy the Supreme Lord. It's one pointed focus. So this one pointed focus, Arjuna, you are completely confused, and if you want one pointed focus, you have to accept the process of bhakti yoga. At this point in time in second chapter, so Krishna actually makes bhakti as buddhi yoga. So he mentions this particular thing, right? So with this, we actually have discussed the various reasons that Arjuna gave for not fighting the battle, and also what are the solutions that Krishna actually offered. Why Arjuna should not give away this battle and he should fight. So now we'll open up for a little bit of question and answers, and after that we will have the mantra meditation and we'll go to the center. Any questions with which we have discussed? Yeah, it's a very important point. Without the sanction of the Lord, not even a blade of grass can move. So if some adharma is happening, some wrong things are happening, so that is also happening with the sanction of the Lord. Without the Lord sanctioning, nothing can happen actually. So then how we can understand why does the Lord sanction adharma? Why does the Lord sanction, like bad things? So like for this we need to understand one very important thing. How does this whole environment actually functions? So the Bhagavad-Gita actually mentions about the ways of functioning of this world. So it mentions there are 5 factors for action. Any action to perform. So there are 5 different factors are there. Adhishtanam, Tatha Karta, Karanam cha Pratak Vidam, Vividam sa Pratak Cheshta, Daivam Chaivetra Panchamam. So 5 factors to action. So Adhishtanam means the body, so or the environment that is there. And Karta is the soul. Soul means my desire, what desires I have. If I have a particular desire, I have to do this particular thing. Then there is a possibility of that getting into an action. And then Vividam Sapatak Cheshta, different kinds of endeavor that I do and the kind of senses that I have got. And then finally Daivam, the Lord's sanction. So all of it has to be there in place. That's when a particular action can happen. So now people have different kinds of desires. Some good people have good desires, the Lord sanctions it. And bad people have bad desires, the Lord sanctions it. So the Lord defines himself. Like what is his role in the material world? He says, Anumanta, Upadrishta, Bharta, Bhokta, Manishina. So Anumanta means I am a sanctioner, and Upadrishta. Upadrishta means I am an overseer, observer. So the Lord functions in these 2 capacities in this world. He functions as, like if you have a desire, he will sanction it. And like if you do something wrong, what will the Lord do? Upadrishta. He is observer, over here. So why is he just an observer? Why he is not stopping the bad things? This is something a very important question. You see, in the spiritual world, in the Vaikuntha, so everybody are in sync with the Lord. Everybody are in obedience with the Lord. And there it is Vaikuntha, the name itself says, Kunta means misery. And Vaikuntha means a place where there is no misery. Right? Why? Because everybody are in sync with the Lord. And when a living entity says, no, I don't want to be in your dominion, I want to be of my own. So then the Lord says, okay, fine. If you want to be of your own, so you cannot be of your own completely. Just like a child says, no, I want to be of your own, of my own. I don't want you, in the picture. Where he will do, what he will do. Unko khana bhi banana nahi aata, like, kaisa survive karega. So he doesn't know how to earn his money. Nothing he knows, actually. So in the same way, the living entity is always a dependent entity on the Lord. Without the help of the Lord, we cannot function. Even to do good or bad, without the help of the Lord, we cannot do anything, right? So now the Lord says, okay, fine. If you want to do things of your own, so I'll play a silent role. I'll create a world in such a way that you can take calls. You do whatever you want. So I'll be a silent observer. But mind it, when you're trying to do some action, it's going to create problem for other people, living around. So to the extent the other person is going to suffer, I will give you also suffering. That's the law of karma, right? So he makes a law and then he puts all the living entities into the box, into the material world, right? So, and we see that in Bhagavad-Gita also Krishna says, prakrite kriyamanani, gunai karmani sarvasaha, ahankara vimudatma, kartaham iti manyate. So prakriti or material nature is doing everything, right? So, and ahankara vimudatma, a person with false ego and a person with ignorance, he thinks that karta aham iti manyate. So I am the doer. So, but actually speaking, what all things are happening? Now I want to lift my hand. So my desire is there to lift my hand, and I'm making some endeavor also. So then the Lord has to sanction, and the material nature has to actually execute the task. Now I don't have the power to execute the task. So the material nature has to execute the task. If I were to have the power of executing the task, so if I am paralyzed, still, I am the controller. I should be able to do. But I am paralyzed. I cannot do. So why? Because material nature's sanction, Lord's sanction is withdrawn, and material nature cease to operate that particular thing, right? So in this way, we see that good and bad both are sanctioned by the Lord, and like both, has its resultant results, right? So because of our demand, just like if a child says, I want to drive a car, so the father say, okay, fine, I'll take you to a play station and theme park or somewhere, and there you can have a toy car with a huge rubber beading, and you go and hit anyone, no problem. Jaisa man marzi, chalao gaadi. And then udhar 2 kids are driving, and then one kid is coming and dashing the other kid. वो रो के आ रहा है, पप्पा ये मार दिया, ठीक है, so the Lord puts the living entity within this rubber casing, and then अभी जाके मारो, जो करना करो अंदर. हाँ. So the thing is that, like, we take it very seriously, but for Lord it is a PlayStation, no? So it's a PlayStation where things are put. In the real world environment, in the Vaikuntha, the Lord will not allow these things to happen. There he is completely under control. There everything goes on in a proper way, right? But in the material world, it's a PlayStation for people to experience and to exercise all that they can think of. Whether it is good or bad, whatever you can think of, you can execute. You will get the sanction of the Lord if you have the sufficient piety, for that particular action. Yeah, like you play a video game and then उधर मर जा रहा है. Yeah. See, it's like this cannot happen in the real environment. This will not happen in the real environment. It can happen only with the illusory environment, wherein we think that this is our body. We think that this body can be killed or raped or things like that. But no, it is a case of illusion. And how do I get out of the illusion? Okay, first practice dharma in the illusory platform, then you can practice dharma in the real platform, right? So that is the way out of this whole thing, right? So it's a place where the Lord has given, okay, jo karna karo, that is the proposition, that is this one of this place, right? So if you do good, I'll give you good result. If you do bad, no, I'll punish you, right? So that's the way the Lord has actually put the living entities into this particular one. It's a costly game that we have entered into. It's a very costly game. Right? So, yeah. So now it's time. Now we will try to do the mantra meditation and then we'll get back. And during prasadam, we can try to discuss further if there is any questions. Okay? Hare Krishna. So, like just before getting into mantra meditation, so we see that the practice of dharma, like just now we were discussing about dharma, so the practice of dharma is different at different ages. So krite dhyayato Vishnu. So in the Satyuga, so there is like dhyana on Vishnu, meditation was considered to be the ideal way of spiritual practice. And Treta Majito Makai, in the Treta Yuga it is fire sacrifice, and in Dwapar Yuga it is elaborate temple worship, and in Kalautar, Hari Kirtana, in Kali Yuga. So the chanting of the names of the Lord is the prescribed method of worship. And then we know, why do we chant this Hare Krishna mantra? Because it is given in the scriptures. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Iti Shodashakam Namnam Kali Kalmashanashanam Natah Paratropaya Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate. Right? So this is the best means in which we can actually destroy the ill effects of Kali Yuga and perfect our lives. Right? Now let's try to chant. Now kindly repeat after me the Panchatattva mantra. And let's try to focus, like one very important thing in this mantra meditation, you must have heard many times. It's worth hearing and remembering, recounting this particular thing again and again. The most important thing that we're trying to do here is to focus on the sound vibration, right? So this mantra, it is having the capacity to invoke the presence of the Lord. That's the power of the mantra actually. So now if we can actually focus on the sound vibration, every single syllable that is actually emanating, and focusing on them and then feeling the presence of the sound vibration. So that actually gives us the actual association with the Lord, and we will make a tremendous advancement in the path of advancement of the consciousness. Right? So let's try to chant this Panchatattva mantra with a lot of absorption. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So now let's try to keep the mala in the hands. We'll not put the mala down and we'll not touch the mala to any of the lower parts of the body. No, we should try to chant with the mala in the hands. Okay, so now let's try to chant the Hare Krishna mantra.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,